The last video I did was a post-event survival community video, and it was on the school, teaching the kids. But I want to make this note right off the bat here. Adults should not be forgotten in this. You should consider having some type of class once a week or twice a week for an hour or two, teaching some skills to the adults. Skills like hunting, putting out snares and traps, fishing, putting out fish traps, how to make clothing, how to repair clothing, how to make rope and cordage, how to make shelters, how to start a campfire, how to season firewood. Just basic skills. You should continue teaching the adults that in a survival situation also, because not everyone's going to start out on the same page. Now, when it comes to kids, some of the things I mentioned were English, which included reading, writing, spelling, mathematics, everything involved with mathematics, from your basics up to algebra and geometry, and if you got someone who is that skilled, maybe even trigonometry. Sciences, all across the board, biology, chemistry, geology, physiology, anything you can pretty much think of. History, you mustn't forget the past. Social studies, and in social studies, kids need to learn what's the difference between a bad government and a good government. What's the difference between a totalitarian, an authoritarian government, and a constitutional republic. Teach them the different ways societies work. Basics on laws. Not, super specifics, memorizing different law codes. But what are the basics of laws? Things like thou shalt not kill, thou shalt not steal, thou shalt not, rape people. You get the idea. Along with economics, how different things work, and a general idea on religions. As I said, not indoctrinated in a particular religion, but kind of an overview. What are the tenets of Buddhism? What are the tenets of Hinduism, of Islam, of Christianity, of Judaism, so that they have an idea of what is it that they hold sacred, what is it they consider taboo. I also mentioned physical education. You shouldn't let up on that. Conditioning the kids, try to get them into that mindset to live a healthy lifestyle, which includes working out, trying to stay in shape. And then I had also mentioned an area that I came up with called SMS, Survival and Military Skills, Military Studies. That's basically just it. Teaching basic survival techniques. And then when it comes to military studies, what's the basics of tactics? What's the basics of a defense? What's the basics of an assault? What's the basics of an attack? Because they will have to understand how to defend against that stuff or how to perform it against someone who's trying to do them harm. Now, I have up on the board here some items I could think of that maybe you want to stock up on, have on hand for a survival community. Now, should you have enough just yourself that you can conduct a school? If you want to and you're able to, go ahead. But having a few other items that you can pool together with the other people in your group or your community so that you can perform schooling for your kids, have that stuff on hand. And this is the best time to do it because of this time of year. School it's September 1st of 2023 right now as I'm doing this. This is the start of the school year, so the stores are putting stuff on sales. All that extra stock they brought in for back to school, well, now they got to sell off the excess of it, so they're going deep discounts, and I will show you some stuff on that later. But here's some ideas of things that maybe you should think about getting a hold of, having on hand for conducting a survival school, even if it's just homeschooling your own kids or the neighbor's kids or your grandkids, your nephews and nieces. Things to have on hand. First off, paper textbooks. I put this at the top because this, I think, is the most important. I was notified by a subscriber that most schools now are going to essentially just online stuff. They're not even being given textbooks anymore. They don't exist. I asked them, well, what happened with the textbooks they used to have in your kid's school? You know, did they give them out to the parents? Did they sell them? What did they do with them? And the response I got back was they talked to their kid. Their kid told them they got thrown in a dumpster. And then to make sure no one would take those books out of the dumpster, they dumped food scraps over the top of it inside the dumpster to prevent the kids from grabbing those books. That shows you that's deliberately denying knowledge to people. So I'm advising everyone, get textbooks. What textbooks can you get? Anything you can get a hold of. As long as it's not some type of social justice course, anything from kindergarten through to college and graduate school will help out in the long run. But you should really concentrate on those basics. The English, the reading, the writing, mathematics, history, and sciences and social studies. Those are the main ones you should try getting a hold of. Now, a great place to look for this stuff is your local library. A lot of libraries get rid of old textbooks when a particular textbook is no longer being used by that local school district. They then put it out for sale, or they'll put it out on a free pile. Check there. I drive by a few libraries on the way back from work each week just to see what gets tossed on their free piles or on their sale piles. If I see textbooks there, I try to grab them. One of the libraries I go by, there's actually a librarian now that whenever they have a textbook that comes through as a donation or that they're getting rid of, they don't need it anymore, you know, they'll send me a little message saying that, hey, I got X number of textbooks sitting here today. Do you want them? And then I go by there and I pick them up. After that, notebooks, and I'll say paper also. Your basics of your education, showing that you understand what's being taught in the textbooks for writing out your assignments on. Also, pencils and erasers. The two go together. You know, all of us were kids. All of us remember that little eraser on the top of the pencil doesn't last forever, and we always had to have that extra eraser on the side. Get a hold of that stuff. And pencils never go bad. The erasers do get hard, but they're still usable. My grandmother showed me a trick when I was really young with really old pencils. She would just take those and she would get a piece of paper, just this scrap paper, like a piece of newspaper or something like that. She'd take that harder eraser, scrape it back and forth on top of there a bit, and it would wear off the hard outer layer of that eraser so that you could get down to the actual usable stuff underneath. Rulers and mechanical compasses. We all know what a ruler is. Mechanical compass, for those of you who forgot, that's that thing that had the like nail on one end and you put a little piece of pencil through the other and you used it for doing circles or arcs in either science class or in your mathematics class. A lot of kids don't get those in school anymore. So you might have to look for those possibly even online. I mean, for all I know, they could be appearing inside of antique stores now and secondhand stores. Get a hold of some of those. Folders and binders. Always good for having stuff, for putting your notes in, putting those assignments in. You know, and it doesn't just have to be for the students. You also have to account for the teacher also. This teacher could be teaching these same courses year after year after year after year, and they may want to go back into what they taught in the past, what notes, and that stuff they had on a previous class. Scissors and staplers with extra staples. Straightforward there. Books. Now, books, I'm thinking primarily for your reading classes. Well, what should you have in there? I would definitely say think about the classics. Things like Shelley's Frankenstein, the original Dracula. For American stuff, Red Badge of Courage. I remember reading that in school. The Secret Garden, I think, was another one that they used to have in schools also, that we used to have to read as kids for reading comprehension. You know, basic books, and then get several of them. Say, you know, a half dozen or whatever. And if you go with classics, well, then you run the possibility that other people might get the same thing. They might have a different copy, but it'll be the same story. There might be a little bit of grammar difference between the different editions, but, you know, it'll still be the same. Close enough that you can teach classes to kids with those books, even if they're from 4 different publishing houses. As long as the story's the same, they should be close enough, it'll work. Now, a little bit more hardcore. How about desks and chairs? I try to, whenever I see an old school desk being put out free somewhere, or if it's being sold really cheap at a garage sale, you know, less than $5, and I have the cash, I try getting a hold of it, and then I store it inside my my storage unit for the possibility of, you know, maybe kids might need them someday if we have to start a survival community school out here in the country because everything falls apart in the city. You got to give the kids somewhere to sit down to do their work at. And, you know, as some of us should remember, a lot of them, the chairs and the desks were separate, especially in the newer stuff. So if you get the desk, try to find a comparable chair that will work out for it. Teaching aids. Remember the globe? Used to be at the front of the room. The maps of the world, maps of the U.S. Maybe you had history timeline charts that would go up on the wall showing you the progression of the United States from discovery of North America by Christopher Columbus all the way up through the current time when that particular chart was made, showing you all the major things in there, like shots fired at Lexington, start of the Revolutionary War, end of the Revolutionary War, creation of the Constitution, the Civil War, you know, the basic stuff. Think about having some of that stuff on hand, things that could be helpful. Maybe something, even if you come across it real cheap, remember the skeletons we used to get, the big plastic ones we would have for science classes when you covered anatomy? Explaining the different bones in the body, and you could point out on the skeleton where it was at, and then all the kids could literally see on their body where it was in relation. And then I have down here at the bottom, science supplies. Remember the test tubes, the beakers, and all that stuff from your science classes, probably in high school? Maybe have a little bit of that stuff on hand so that someone teaching science class could do it. They could take kids out to the fields and the forest around you with nets and that stuff, capture insects, do the classifications and all that stuff. You know, the different supplies you used when you were in school that could help out these kids in the future. Things that can be reused over and over again. I know some people will say, well, what about chemicals for science class? Remember, there is storage on that stuff. Just keep that in mind. Now I'm going to show you here some supplies I picked up this morning. All of this cost me less than $20 from Walmart from their clearance section. Got construction paper, regular paper. There's a couple notebooks here. That's all they had left. Had some sketchbooks here marked down considerably. Extra erasers, big packs of pens, big packs of pencils, colored pencils. And I was amazed how few folders there were. I got what was left. I'm going to check some other stores and stuff here over the next week to 2 weeks until the clearances are all gone. Maybe I can get some more to have on hand. And obviously some of the stuff, you know, it can end up in cases for a potential resistance unit. Like the sketchbooks. These things, Give something like that to your reconnaissance teams so they can draw out maps of the areas that they're looking at, of that combat outpost, of that traffic control point, so that they can pass that intelligence to higher. The pencils, papers, or pencils and erasers, everyone uses that. Pens, same thing. This stuff transfers back and forth. You're probably not going to use construction paper inside a resistance situation, but hey, it's good to have those for the kids. And then I'd say too, maybe get some bottles of glue. Apparently all that was sold out. So things to think about, things for you to consider. How would you set up a school for kids in an SHTF situation, in a resistance situation? Because if you're in a resistance situation, you're probably not going to want your kids going to that government school to get indoctrinated, to become the new Hitler Youth. There you go, things to think about. Now, for all my engineer brothers in the Patriot Militia movements, always remember essayons.